Hey guys, Infidel 1258 here. Just gonna go live a few minutes early. I see some of you guys already out there, and you just never know how busy a public live will be. So I saw some friendly names, and I thought I'd jump on, give you guys a couple extra minutes, and see what's going on. I saw Eli, who's been here for a good while. Good to see you, pal. And Yellow's out there, always with the amazing comments. Yellow, appreciate that, pal. Gathering, good to see you, buddy. We got to do another chat soon. I saw your video. Guys, check out Gathering's videos on, what's it called? Gollum Overlord, the new Hive game. I'm interested. How many, I'm going to have to do a poll in this live and see how many people are touching that one, getting involved. I have to admit, I'm always a little skeptical when I see these brand new products launch, these brand new games, but I'm interested. Butters, good to see you, pal. My daily video. Yeah, so you're covering Gollum Overlord. Nice. So I'm glad to see. I can see Gathering is almost confirming that my audio is fine because he's responding to my question or my comment. Okay, disclaimer here, guys. I have construction happening downstairs. I almost didn't do this live today because I've got a renovation happening for my little girl Lumina's bathroom. I think I've talked about this on the channel before, but you know, Lumina has a wheelchair and Lumina needs a wheelchair bathroom. And so we're doing a renovation. And I'm on the second floor, but man, it's noisy stuff. I created a noise gate today. I don't usually use a noise gate because I don't like what it does with the sound. But I test recorded while they were doing some drilling and while they're cutting and stuff. It's really noisy to me, but on the video, at least on my test videos, test recordings, it wasn't a problem. Right now, there's nothing happening. I think they're on lunch. So we might have an hour of like reprieve, but when they come back, I bet there's going to be a bunch of noise. If you hear something in the background, that'll be what it is. And again, I did my best to mitigate that with the noise gate. So we'll see how that impacts us or if it does at all. DJ, thanks, man. Right now, there's no noise in the background. It's whisper quiet at this very moment, but I think they're on lunch for an hour. So we'll see how it is when they get back. Yeah, guys, I don't know. Let's take a minute and talk about, before I do, I want to talk about Gollum Overlord because I'm curious about it, Gollum. But I'll tell you before I get into that, I want to say that Jim's going to be joining me in a little bit, and also a special guest from Time and Attention Guild. One of the members is going to be joining us a little bit later on, so we'll talk things Splinterlands, how we got into the game, and you know, just whatever conversation points come up with the chat with you guys and questions and topics that rise out of that. But I want to know more about Gollum Overlord, and I watched. Let's see here, YouTube, and I'd want to see, let's see, Gathering. I saw Gathering, Magic. Gathering covered this. No. Okay. Let's go this way. Gollum Overlord, or Overlord, is it Overlord Gollum? Yeah, Gollum Overlord. I saw, okay, Aftersound covered it too, hey? I didn't see that one. I saw Gathering cover it. I saw Bronze Dragon cover it. There he is, Bronze Dragon. I'm interested, but from what I could tell, there was two things I didn't love. One, there isn't the same sort of transparency, apparent, like from what I could tell with the team. That doesn't mean I have any sort of reason to doubt, but it just, you know, the brand new project, I'm always a little skeptical, but I am eager to know more. I'm going to buy whatever the staff or whatever the thing is, the 20 or 30 hive that you need to, and I am going to give it a shot. So yeah, that's cool. It's cool to see fresh excitement. I saw you guys talk about it. Like I said, Gathering, Bronze Dragon, Geeked Out Basketball was mentioning it to me, and others too. So it seems like at minimum, there's a good number of people being excited about it. And then if you go over to Hive, if you guys haven't heard about this, it's a new game on the Hive engine, or sorry, on the Hive blockchain. And it's, I forget what they kind of call it, but it's one of these games where you essentially you manage an economy and you can attack neighbors and you can steal resources, you can earn resources, and you can steal resources, and you want to obviously defend your own resources. That's the game in a nutshell. And you're going to earn part through the process of playing it. And part is selling, relatively, looks like it's pretty well brand new, right? April 6th looks like the first sales were happening. If that's right. Look, was there a price there? Anyways, it's just weeks old, not months or anything like this. Part's been pretty stable, but I guess part gets printed like daily as you earn it. Look at this volume. Yesterday there I saw a 24-hour, or I saw a volume of around 22 thou. Today 27 thou. That's not nothing. So that's encouraging. So I'm interested. I'm definitely interested. I want to know more. Butters, thanks for stopping by on your lunch break. Good to see you, bud. Like I said, everybody, make sure you check out Gathering's video on the stuff. If this game sounds, if you want to know more, you haven't heard, go check it out. He's got 2 or 3 videos on it. Then I said Bronze Dragon also has content on it as well. I think everyone's getting their bearings with it. I don't think anybody really has, a cornerstone on how it works or how to maximize your rewards with it. But if you want to know about a new game on Hive, like me, go listen to their content and figure out a little bit more. And then, I'm going to buy that. There's like a 20 Hive intro. I'm going to pay it and just check it out. Maybe I'll cover it too, and you guys can see. Eli, hope everyone's been spectacular. I have. Me and the family certainly have. Lumina went through like a month where there was like really terrible seizures. And that was like probably a week and a half ago that kind of wrapped up. The worst she's ever had. Really scary stuff. But out of that, like there's a lot of just praying and, just crying really. Cause you wish you could stop that sort of thing from happening, right? You wish you could rescue your little kid out of that. But, she's been good too. Like even when she was dealing with those, she was so full of joy, lots of laughter, lots of smiles. And now last week she's been sleeping in our bed with us at nighttime because her bedroom is out of commission due to the renovations. And she's such a sweetie. She's at bedtime. She's so happy to be in our bed with us that she's smiling and laughing and cheering all late, staying up way later than she's used to. So yeah, man, you say, I hope everyone's been spectacular. My family certainly has been last week and a half, 2 weeks. DJ, thanks for the comment on the sound. Good. Eli says good too. Yellow, I was just going to say we hear literally nothing of noise, but they're on break. Yep. Yeah, we will. Gathering. We got to plan it though. Like, oh man, I'm like booking. I really have like Wednesdays and Thursdays where I have more time, and Fridays occasionally also, but often Fridays are like a time where I spend time with the wife and we go on dates because we both have Fridays off. So Wednesdays or Thursdays in the afternoon-ish, like 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. That's about a 4-hour window on both days I could slot in, or I can do evenings too. So let's talk. But I got to book it like 2 weeks out, and then it'll happen. Bronze Dragon is a content creator for it. I'm in his guild. Oh, cool. You're in it. I wonder if that's how you heard about it, through the guild, or was it through the content creation? Because I found him as a content creator, I want to say a week or two ago, and while I was on vacation, and I was running out of stuff to watch, and he popped up, and I watched some of his stuff. Isn't Gollum Overlord basically a copy of TerraCore, or am I mistaken? I don't know what TerraCore is, but it feels like a copy of. From what little I know, it feels very much like a copy of a lot of games, really. That's just, even Drug Wars, one of the original Hive games on the Hive blockchain. It's called Drug Wars, and you run a drug cartel, and you essentially, on a map, you could focus on your own economy and growing that so you can make more product and therefore make more crypto, or you could focus on essentially a military strategy where you're going to either attack and steal resources from others, or even you would have to manage your military just to defend your own economy. So that's the sort of game you're talking about here. And I wouldn't be surprised. I don't know TerraCore, but I wouldn't be surprised if there's a lot of similarities. These are really simplistic game styles. All you have to, it really is zeros and ones. Like, increase the building 1 increases production, building 2 increases storage, building 3 increases, troop training speed, etc. There's probably 30 things you can do. And these games can, once you build the engine, you can just copy paste with your own artwork. So I wouldn't be surprised if there were similarities or even a direct copy. I don't know though. And I get interested from the crypto perspective, of course, but you do have to worry. You always want to be cognizant of the fact with a new project, if there's no public face, I get nervous about, you know, what if they sell on our heads with their part? Because they have X amount of part, I guess. And I don't mean to, don't take this the wrong way. I don't know anything. I'm not saying that they're nefarious, but I don't know them. So I presume a certain degree of skepticism, and then I let that skepticism fall away as the trust is earned. And that's sort of where I'm at. But I'm still cautiously stepping into it. I'm currently unstaking some Hive so that I can make a move into it. It's mostly passive, super fast. So I guess Zin is the coder. Lots of updates. That's great to hear. Yellow, no transparency is a red flag already. I agree. That makes me nervous, if I'm being entirely honest. But that doesn't mean I wouldn't try and explore it and see how it goes. And then again, you watch, you know, with more and more time, more and more opportunity to build trust will come and go, and either the trust will be earned or it'll be, you know, dropped, and then I'll make an ongoing decision. That's what I would recommend for everybody in every project, even Splinterlands. Watch and see if your trust grows and grows by actions are taken, words that are shared, or if it diminishes. Future updates, land boss fights, crafting, PvE, guild brawls, skill trees. I assume you're still speaking about Gollum Overlord, but a lot of those things are applicable to Splinterlands too. It sounds like boss fights were mentioned in the last town hall in a way that made it feel like it's actually, you know, near. They didn't say any dates, I don't think, but the way it was mentioned made it sound like, no, it's still happening and it's happening soon. That'll be cool. And crafting will be coming to Splinterlands soon, also in the form of items and spells. I mean, months away, but not years away. Land, yeah, a lot of that could be transferable to Splinterlands. Just found out that Matt is a Gollum Overlord as well. Oh, that's cool. That's good to know. Battle Beast, good to see you, bud. I hope your daughter gets healing and relief. Me too. And she is in so many ways. She's, I said to my friend the other day, she has a difficult life in a lot of respects, in ways that most people would consider unfortunate, like seizures. You don't want your kid to have seizures. She's in a wheelchair. You don't want your kid to have a wheelchair. But the thing about life, if you're honest, is that we all have a difficult life. Like, you know, some people are battling depression, anxiety, you know, poverty, and those are just maybe even Canadian concerns. But then put yourself in a different part of the world. I mean, we have to remember that life is hard, and you either celebrate and walk in gratitude for the good things that are there, like the good moments, the good memories, or you fester and you're disappointed and sad and broken up about the things you wish weren't. I think that's a choice we can make. And so God's been helping me see that for my little girl, and she has so much joy. You know, people look at her, they think wheelchair, oh, that's unfortunate. But, you know, I see such a peace in her. She's a beauty. I hope you guys get to meet her one day. I hope maybe we get to meet at one of the Splinter Fests in the future. And I hope to bring my family, and you know, maybe some of you will have an opportunity to meet Lumina. She's a beautiful girl, and she's different, and she's got in some ways a hard life. But like I say, so do you. And spoiler for everybody, if you're not having a difficult life now, there's always difficulty to come, right? We lose people we love, sickness. It's just, that's life. So let's make a choice to be grateful for the joys that we do get, even if we have a lot of suffering to walk through also. And I think that is like, that's what I hear God telling me. And that's what's been really giving me a lot of hope. Okay. So he says gathering at the week of May 8th off, maybe that week. That would be great. You send me a Discord message and let's lock something down. That would be a good week for me. Glad to hear she's past the rough patch. Being around her when she's experiencing that joy is what it's all about. Yeah. Savor the moments. That's it, man. Savor the moments. Oh, dude, Blaze. I think that's Blaze. Blaze? Yeah, there he is. Oh, up to diamond. Thanks, bro. Appreciate that. Got to get Blaze back on too. Had an amazing chat with Blaze the other day, talking about land, talking about, I forget what else now, cards and the future of values of cards and SPS. Blaze is so bullish on SPS. I was saying to him, I was thinking about selling some of my SPS, and he goes, I'll buy it off you. And then also, what was the other thing you said? You said something like, my strategy with SPS is number go up. And it's that simple. Just add to it, add to it, add to it. If you want resources to move into Splinterlands, to buy more cards, to buy land plots or whatever, figure out a way to do it without sacrificing the SPS. And he convinced me, guys. I had been unstaking SPS at the time, and I was thinking I might sell maybe as much as 20,000 SPS, but I didn't. I restaked everything. And we're over 100,000 for the first time in a long time. I was over this point one time before, and then I sold some to get Rift Watcher packs. And I guess I'm glad I did that. I mean, remember, SPS used to be a lot higher. So in some sense, I locked in a certain amount of value. No, I bought validator nodes. I own 3 validator nodes, I think. And I used SPS to buy those too. So I'd probably be a lot higher on my SPS if I didn't keep spending it already. But yeah, I want 1 million, and we're not going to get there by selling some. In fact, I want to buy more, but right now with the renovation, it's not happening. So shout out to Blaze. Thank you for the diamond. We got to set up another talk. And then also, there was something else I was going to say there. Yeah. Oh, thank you for convincing me not to sell it, not to sell what I've got. Yeah. Thanks, Yellow. Thanks, man. Yeah, she's a sweetie. I'll ask you, hi, Dwayne, you recovered or are you still ill? You look good. Or he says you look okay. I just look okay. That's noted. No, I'm feeling better. Yeah, it was a full week or 5 days where I was like, it was just a really nasty cold. But man, I was blowing the noise every minute, every other minute. And so that was really annoying, and it would have been impossible to do this. Plus I was filming, but I was on vacation at the time at Canuck Place. So I was like pre-recording. It would have been too hard to do a long live, but yeah, I feel good. And I've started running, guys. I'm training for a big run. I don't know if you guys know, I think I probably mentioned this. 4x4x48. There it is. Let's see if it shows me. There he is. David Goggins, 4x4x48. This is I don't want to click on it because I don't exactly know what it's going to show when I do. But if you don't know who David Goggins is, he's like a Navy SEAL, absolute animal, just a beast, trains relentlessly and has this vision for every day you should do something that sucks. Push yourself, challenge yourself, recognize that when you overcome that voice of like, hey, I don't need to work out today, or hey, I don't want to push hard on this issue, whether it's work or family or right, like whatever you want to strive and succeed at, he's like, push at those things and work for them. Don't sit back and passively, watch those. Don't passively let your desires become. Don't ignore your desires, right? Like strive for them. And so he created this thing where you run 4 miles. I guess he created it. Run 4 miles every 4 hours for 2 full days, meaning you don't sleep essentially, right? Because you run for an hour, sleep for 3, run for an hour, sleep for 3. And you got to wash clothing and you got to live life too. So as you can imagine, it's a real sleep depriver. Plus it's about 2 marathons. So I'm training for that. And I'm feeling good. I'm feeling great, in fact. Thanks for asking, Oscu. Joined Battle Beast, just joined Bronze Dragons Guild on Gollum 2. Nice. Yeah, he said he was doing a Gollum guild. I'd like to know more about that also. DJ Terracore came out on Hive last month. Okay, I'm going to look into that too. Dr. Crypto, Terracore is a simpler version. Gollum has more variables. Interesting. I feel like land is going to be something like what we are already describing here. Don't you think? I don't know how many of you guys have really thought about what land's going to look like when it's actually playable, but I think it's going to feel like the game we're already seeing with Terracore maybe, and with Gollum Overlord. I think there's going to be elements of that. I don't know if we're going to battle between each other, but you could imagine that being an update at some point. It's got this economy element. Maybe there'll be a defense element. That would be neat. Even if it's not a PvP defense element, maybe it's a PvE, player versus enemy, meaning maybe we already know that there's certain occupied lands and you have to kill the spirits or whatever they are to like collect them in order to extract the SPS from the occupied lands. Maybe that means you build defense, and in some sense it's like almost like you're surviving the spawns of the waves of spawned enemies. I don't know, but I think there'll be similarities in the experience. Gollum Overlord Discord is super active. Designers chatting. That's great. Kyle. Oh, Mumpoles, dude. Good to see you. Good to see you, pal. I heard you do. Mumpoles got the shout out on Splinterlands TV for dropping the points the other day on the town hall. Barabonk. It is inspired by Terracore, which is a game that I like, where different strategies are fine for player development. I hope that Gollum will not copy Terracore and will develop differently. It sounds like from the voices in the chat, it already is. I'm listening to you while I do a work paper. That's funny. Somebody said, I think about this a lot because I listen to audiobooks and I work hard on whatever. Like I'll write an essay for work and I'm simultaneously while listening to an audiobook. And right now I'm listening to Game of Thrones. But when I do that, there's like a famous saying, multitasking is a lie or something like that. It's like do one thing well or two things poorly. And I think about that often, but I don't follow that advice. And I'm hearing Mum say that he doesn't either. Yellow says, yeah, I agree with what you said on transparency. Maybe we can call it as yellow flag, not a red flag, and red sounds too strong. Yeah, that's the thing. You know, I don't know. I know I've done half an hour of looking at a Gollum Overlord. I don't know what to make of it yet. I do wish that there was a face to a name. I do wish there was town halls. I do wish, there had been months and more, or even years worth of kind of activity and of a history establishing accountability and whatnot. But here's the strange thing. If a game has that, if you have years of accountability and, proving yourself and trust and community has grown for years, what does that mean? It means the investment or the game is more secure, but that simultaneously means the opportunity is smaller, the opportunity to receive outsized gains. That's unfortunate in some sense, because you do want security when you're putting money into something, and whether you put a lot or a little, 20 hive is something, or whether you go and spend more and buy a part so you can upgrade, because that's their token, and upgrade it. And I think I might take a couple $100 and upgrade I might spend a couple $100 on playing Gollum Overlord. And I think the exciting part about that is if the team ends up growing and the development and transparency and the trustedness grows and grows and grows over the months and years to come, and the game keeps getting developed, just like Splinterlands has, that's how $5,000 or $500 can get this massive outsized return. But you have to admit, there's never more risk than when something first launches. It could fail because it's bad. It could fail because no one hears about it. It could fail because there's corruption. It could fail because there's a problem with the code. You don't know. And so it's like, you just got to walk in that uncertainty. I'm okay with that. I'm going to take a bite. Hardy Stonefish. Hello, Dwayne and Splinterlands family. Good to see you, pal. Let's see. I went through a rough time and you are 100% right. We all got a difficult life. She has it in her own way, and we all got it in our own way. Seems like you're right about that and how it is. I think that's just the truth. We all do, and if we don't today, we will one day. So let's try and prepare our hearts, right? Like actively make choices daily to walk in gratitude for what you have and not frustration for what you don't. Gregory, hello everyone. Hello, Gregory. Good to see you, buddy. Thank you very much, Gathering. Yep. Smash the like if you guys can. How we doing? I've got 14 likes and 32 concurrent viewers. If you're enjoying the content, if you like my channel, if you like what I'm doing and how I cover Splinterlands, please, I appreciate the likes. It ends up driving more viewers, and we end up, last time we did a live, we got, I think, 7 or 8 more subscribers, because people, they probably don't know about me. There's tons of people who don't know about Dwayne Cunningham or Infidel 1258. And that's awesome, because it points me to the fact that Splinterlands is still so new and this community is still just getting started. I really looked forward to a time in the future when our game is much bigger, because I think it will be. And then also YouTubers like Gathering, like Bronze Dragon, like myself, like NFT Gaming and Collectibles are going to have, I imagine, if we stay to it and we keep doing what we're doing, I suspect there's a moment in the future where we have tens of thousands of followers, not hundreds or thousands. I mean, Gathering, I think, has about 1,000 now, or just under. I'm setting up in a conversation with Geeked Out Basketball next week. Again, great content creator, not enough subscribers. There's a growing group of people making great quality content. Let's recognize that with likes, with comments, with subscriptions, so that those things grow and they keep to, it leads more people to it. So thank you guys for that, for your help in that. Yellow, I've not been into motivation videos lately, and sometimes it's just crap and not how things work, but I'm going to check Goggins for some motivation like that. The thing about Goggins is he is for real. Like, it's not, you have to, there's one guy who wants to convince you that you should get up and get going. And then there's a guy like Goggins who's like, I am going to get up and get going. And people like myself or you might find inspiration in saying, like, look at how, what he's accomplished and how he's done it. Like, he did this one quick thing. I'll tell you, he ran this 100-mile run, and he had never done that before. He was trying to raise money for some of his fallen comrades. And like I said, he was a Navy SEAL, and the guy runs 70 miles. He'd never done this before. Runs 70 miles, very little training. He's 270 pounds at this time. Breaks every bone in his feet. I'll spare some of the details, but if you do any research on him and you'll learn about this probably. He had all kinds, like, his body is breaking and literally failing. His kidneys were failing, etc. And the guy duct tapes his feet till they go numb because of lack of circulation, and just runs on the broken bones for 30 miles. And is it stupid? Yeah, it's stupid. But here's the thing that I take from that. The body isn't the boss. And sometimes I think we're all, I think probably most of us, if not all of us, are probably Western world people. We're from Canada. We're from America. We are so rich. And I wonder what you guys think about this. I believe that we're so wealthy, whether we're, middle class or we're upper class or whatever. We are filthy rich by world standards, and the amount of times we do difficult things and we fight through, and it's not every day, but most of the world does. They literally scratch and claw to get by. And so I find a lot of value in telling my body, like, hey, you're not in control. I'm going to run this race, even if it's pouring rain, or I'm going to run, even if I'm tired or I'm a little sick, or you know what I mean? Like, just those sorts of challenges are great. Mom says, I'm literally just typing data and faxing. I'm not sure if there is a well or halfway to do it. The best way. iHorse in the house. Good to see you, buddy. Here are my worries. Aggro picked the team that made the mobile Splinterlands and to make tower defense. Okay. And Aggro many times blamed the team for never having their stiff together. Okay. And always behind on updates. Interesting. I didn't know this. Yeah, I think the mobile hasn't, I don't know enough about the mobile. I only touched it a little. But my take on this is that, didn't the mobile generally fail because of certain barriers and limitations to the mobile experience? I think, like, for instance, you can't buy and sell SPS, you can't buy and sell DEC, I don't think, through the app. And why can't you? Because if you could, it wouldn't be, we couldn't put the game on Google because it would be considered like a gambling app or something like that. They don't let you do that on Google. They don't let you do that on Apple, on iOS or whatever it is, the shop, Apple shop. So I, as far as I remember, the real issue with the mobile was the barriers that were there around the economy and then making the game um, reachable to the masses. So it was like a basic version was released. That huge barrier was realized, and out of that, and seeing no way around it, they kind of abandoned development. That's how I understood the problem. I could be wrong about that, but you raise an interesting point when you say that the same team is then using them doing the tower defense. I didn't know that. The tower defense though is plugging along, and people seem really interested already. So even if there was a swing and a miss, and I'm not 100% sure there was a swing and a miss. I think there might have been more that economy problem I just mentioned. But let's say there was a problem with either how they developed it or how whatever. It seems like people like what they've seen with the tower defense. And I know there was a testable 25 levels or something, right? So I think it's a different conversation. Then he acted like GLS is a different project. When you use GLS support, Splinterlands support response. So legally, they can say they are the same project. So now Splinterlands is in bed with that company. I think they're all part of the same umbrella, but just because Splinterlands support responds doesn't mean that it's the same entity. I think that's a leap there. I don't know. Maybe they are, but they are the same umbrella. But isn't that like saying, Marvel is the same as Disney? Because Disney owns Marvel, but certain people oversee Marvel and others oversee like the Disney productions or Pixar productions, but Pixar is part of, right? I don't think I don't know that the criticism you're levying is accurate or appropriate, maybe. Stablecoin manipulation. That is stablecoin manipulation. That is a no for the SEC. If anyone complained, it'd all be over. Aggro likes to hide this stuff.
Hello?
Oh, Jimbo, good to see you, buddy.
What's up?
Let me check your volume. Say something for me.
Hello, testing. Testicle 1 2. Testicle 1 2.
You're good.
All right, beautiful.
How you doing?
Doing pretty good. Just got completely destroyed at the stairs today. It's like 10 flights of stairs. It's man, it's a lot. A lot.
Is that like is that like a gym workout? Go to the gym and do that, or is that like you're just going up and down stairs outside at some place?
Yeah, it's outside in a forest preserve. I just put those two words together, and they apparently during the winter they also do like bobsledding there. They have a nice little hill, and so when it's packed with snow, they just allow people to go sledding.
Cool. That's really cool. Good to see you, by the way. I wish I could see you, but I mean, good to speak to you. It's nice to speak to you. It's been at least a couple weeks.
It's been a little bit. We did play some Overwatch the other day, but that was only 30 minutes. So does it really count?
Barely.
Yeah, barely.
Did you see any of this conversation that we're starting here? iHorus was talking about some like criticism toward the Splinterlands team and how they've chosen some of the developers, specifically with tower defense. And I know you got like an interest in that. Like, what do you think? Did you play tower defense?
Yeah, I got to play it. This was before I had my Rooney, so I had to get rid of some packs in order to get it. But I liked it. I was a big fan.
It looks. I didn't actually play it, but it's the sort of thing where you can. When I watch a video of someone else playing it, I get the idea, and it looks good. I mean, any criticism or like if you're being. Give me something critical if there's anything that you want to say about that. Is there anything that you could add to inform me?
Oh yeah, for sure. There was one thing that they pointed out in the in that document that just came forward the other day.
Okay.
It was saying that there's two different modes. There's a free-for-all to where you can use anything that you have, and then there's a mode where it pretty much decides what cards or what towers and what spells you're able to use. I'm like, I thought it was just going to be for testing purposes, they let you play with a couple different cards.
Okay.
And then when we get into the game, you pretty much make your lineup however you want. And when you go into the game, that's when you start utilizing those towers.
Mm.
So it was a little bit weird to me, but that just means I'm going to be playing free for all modes. So
Is it available to like for me to play right now or no?
So you do need the 500 packs in order to play it right now.
Okay.
But from what I learned last night, our bot. Oh wait, that's right. You're not a part of the stream team anymore. Dang it. They're actually Ron just put forward the having the streamers actually be able to be a part of the beta testing for
Cool.
Soul Keep. So
That's
you
great.
don't even need to have that packs.
That's great.
Mhm.
How many did I get up to? I want to see. It's the Nightmare pack, right?
Yeah.
So I own 131. Is that right? Yeah.
131. That's a good amount.
Yeah. I want more, but yeah, like with everything, I want more of everything. So we'll,
Mhm.
as we can, we will. But yeah, no, I mean, the criticism was that they, I guess, helped create the mobile app, and that was kind of a failure. So why would we have them come in and do this? I mean, so far so good with the from what I can tell with the tower defense. So far so good. And is it ideal? Is it perfect? I heard people ran through the 25 levels or whatever, however many levels they gave really quickly, and then we're like, oh, they want more. Well, that's a good thing. Like people want more. So I don't know. I mean, if the criticism is they messed up on one previous project and therefore they should never be trusted again, I don't know. I can't agree to that.
Yeah, no, not at all. Especially when you talk about big companies and like how many times, if you go back to their past, you can see that not everything was a keeper, you know. So a lot of companies have failed before until they get it right.
Yeah, that makes me think about there's an Apple product. What was that Apple thing? It was like, man, they've had a variety of products that didn't really go very right. Remember that computer monitor? What was it? It was like they had a computer monitor. It was like a CRT, but it was like also a computer. Oh, I forget.
All in one that they have.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know that I think they still exist, but
they still do all in one computers. But I don't know if it's, oh yeah, it is Apple. It is Apple. But are you talking to the old school ones or is like the big colorful one?
Yeah, that's right.
Okay.
Yeah. My buddy had one of those, and you can't really upgrade. My point is just even amazing companies make products that are sometimes lackluster, and it's so to me it's like, forget about where they came from or what they did previously. If so far so good, and the product is testable, and therefore it is literal, it's real. You can see it, you can touch it in a figurative sense, and that to me is great. It's honestly, isn't that more than we can say about GLG? Isn't GLG just like at this moment, I think you can open your packs, but that's about it.
You can open the packs and there's a marketplace. So yeah.
I'd like to see, I'll be more excited about these things when there's more. Like when but for me right now, Splinterlands, of course, I'm everything is Splinterlands, but I am getting interested in tower defense, and I'm also getting very excited about land. I've been buying more. I think I'm up to, let's have a peek where I'm at. I'm up to 23 plots, and
wow.
But they are kind of strewn about 2, 6, 3, 11, 1. But I've just found like really great prices in some situations, and I really believe that land is going to appreciate. I saw somebody talking about this the other day. Somebody was saying, who was talking about this? I think it might have been, it was another new YouTuber that I've just recently discovered. I'm not going to remember his name right now, but if I do, I'll share it. He was talking about plots of land, and if it's at $60 today, it would have to go to probably $600 before he would consider, like there's a real in between where there's going to be, he was making the argument that there is likely a window of pricing for land where there is just no action, because you can picture people are well, and I think this argument makes some sense. So I want to echo it now. You know, we've got plots of common land right in front of me here on Peak Monster selling for $70, and that's been a bit high. Like often they're in that 60 range. There's Kush, shout out to Kush. Used to be a supporter of the channel and huge investor in Splinterlands, but for $70 a plot with a box, decent price. And there's some consecutive ones in here, so that would be interesting to me potentially, but I'm a little low on funds right now. But here's the thing. So like we've got people selling for 70, but presumably we will reach a place in time where the plots that are for sale at this price point are going to dry up. Like we're going to get some time at some point in the future, we're going to reach a place in time where those who want to sell for $70 a plot are going to have sold. And then we might have those who are holding aren't willing to sell for anything like that. It's like, you know, this might be me, it might be others in the audience. Maybe the holders end up not wanting to sell for less than, let's say, double, $150 ish. And I think that's probably going to be my story. So if I buy these plots of land for 60, if they go down to 30, I'm not going to sell it. I'm not going to get scared and sell them low. I'm also not going to sell them when they go up to 90 or to 100. Like, who cares? It's just not a big enough price differential for me. But as we start to get into double or more, so to me, that it points to a drying up of liquidity within the weekends, which means there'll essentially be a lack of low price points available in the marketplace. And then there'll be this increasing in this like, what's the word? Like a compiling, or like all the certain hands, like stronger hands grabbing and holding on to them will mean that the prices are going to, I think, go up just because of that, like the supply demand of who's holding. And I would wager that might mean there's a few months where there's a lack of sales because there aren't a lot of buyers, but those who own aren't going to want to even sell. And so there might be a lack of liquidity or lack of like sales, buys and sells. But then it translates ultimately into, well, the ones who are holding the plots are really setting the price point that is available at, I think, higher and higher levels, even if they're not moving as much because there isn't as many eager buyers. I'm thinking that might be an actual story. We'll see, but that would be months away. Yeah, we'll see. So what else is new on Splinterlands TV? They've got, what's it called? You guys got like a new thing coming.
What is it called? Honestly, I have no idea what it's called.
I think there's like Ape in April, and I think there's like a topic for May, but
maybe I don't know.
It seems like a lot is going on over there right now. Are you still doing one a week, or is it two, or what are you doing?
Yeah, I'm still doing Wednesday and Fridays.
Good for you. You
got the two going.
When I'm not busy, I'll come hang out on a Friday night again for old time's sake. It'd be good to hear.
Yeah, and I'll have you on webcam only, so that they think it's you streaming. Yeah. Oh, also, there was actually some really important stuff that happened.
Yeah.
So Steve was actually. Let me see if I can save this. Copy link. So Steve was actually opening some of the GLS packs yesterday.
Okay.
And he came across some good stuff. Here is
Stever82, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Here's one. This is a really important one. I put it in there it is.
Okay, hang on a second. I gotta see this with my, this is not gonna screen share because it's in the Discord app. So do me a favor and send me to.
Oh, just open it in a browser.
Okay. Go there and then
right underneath it.
Okay.
Click it.
Like.
And then.
Oh, I see it. Yeah. Open in browser. Yeah. Yes. Boom.
So look how terrible they did Nate in this card. It doesn't even look good. We were dying laughing when we saw this card.
Yeah, I see like it looks like Nate's distant cousin.
Nate's distant cousin named Nacho.
Yeah. Yeah, I can see a similarity, like a faint similarity, I'm gonna say.
Uh-huh.
And I saw on Twitter this one here.
Yep. Aggro.
I mean, again, it's like they've tried to like change a little bit of who they are so that they're I don't like it just doesn't it's just
It's
it's not quite
it's
right.
it's more funny than anything,
Hmm.
is what it is.
Hmm.
It's more funny than anything. And there was actually someone who kind of stole my idea. So in the past, before, I have talked about doing a hot tub stream for Splinterlands TV,
Yep.
and I found out last night someone kind of beat me to it.
Tell me more.
I just sent it to you in the Discord.
Yeah.
The photo, he is wearing a Borat bikini style thing. He's in his bathtub, and I just don't know what to think about this, Dwayne.
Who is this?
One of I don't know how to pronounce his name, but
Yeah.
he's one of the streamers for the stream team.
Oh wow.
And he even asked Ron, he's like, "Hey, would I be able to do a bathtub or a hot tub stream?" And Ron didn't get back to him in time.
Oh
He's
my.
like, "Yeah, let's not do that." He's like, "Ah, too late, already did it."
Oh my goodness. Uh, that is ridiculous. And so
uh,
I think I might have missed the beginning of that. Was that going to be, is he like seeking to have that become a card? Is that why you're like the connection there? Is that going to be
oh
the
no,
latest
it's
GLG?
there's no connection here for these two photos. It's
Okay.
just what has happened on the stream team recently.
Amazing.
So we found out that that guy did that guy is very confident. Okay, I
Mhm.
don't know what else to say.
Yeah. You can see it in the photo.
Uh-huh. Mm-hmm.
It's
Oh, man.
lots of chat here. Let me see what's going on. I mean, Yellow says, I bought 2 plots of $59 with the building in the box. Don't see it coming down that at the moment. Don't have money for more, but hey, got 2 at least. Yeah, I was buying at the $55, $60 range, 65 range even for those to bring up. And I sold 1 plot of land that was a magical common for 3 something. And then I used that to then buy 4 or 5 other commons that are not magical.
Mm.
If you don't need to stake monsters on land, if you build a storage building, then I don't care what region I'm in, and want as many plots as I can. I was watching a video from Gathering the other day. He had like, I think it was Gathering. You had like you were talking about ideas, things you need to kind of think through about land ownership. I'm pretty sure it was yourself, and there's a lot that I haven't properly thought through. Like I don't really fully understand the taxation. I don't really fully understand shipping costs. I don't really fully understand, how how the buildings are going to work. And I don't know if anybody does, but that makes me then wonder if I'm missing something. I think Gathering's right. It doesn't necessarily matter. I think you're going to be okay with some of the diversified, the non-consecutive plots of land. But I also don't know for sure that my current strategy is going to be optimal, and that's okay. Because for me, I think I've said this before. I think with land, you can invest in it from the perspective of I want to build a business and I want to produce assets and sell those and make money out of the operation of the land. That's like a business opportunity. And then there's also the flip opportunity. I'm going to buy a certain plot of land. The other day, a castle sold for 16,000 and they relisted for more. That's a flip. They're looking to flip and make a short-term profit. And then there's like a long-term price appreciation, which is more my view. But I'm thinking business short-term, and I'm thinking long-term price appreciation. So like if I've got 1 in Lawnshire and 3 in Jumanji and 2 in Tidings, maybe I'm okay with selling those off individually as prices reach decent numbers, and consolidating, or maybe trying to add to Garendale, because that's where most of my plots are. And even those are discontinuous across track 2 and 3. So, but that's probably years away, if not at minimum months away, for me to see that sort of opportunity. But that, I think it's worth thinking through. It's like, what are you even trying to get out? Do you want a short-term price appreciation? Well, you better find the right plot of land for a really great deal and put it back and be patient with the sale. Or are you just thinking business? Well, then again, maybe you do want to try and be in one main track, but I think Gathering is probably right that you're going to be able to function across borders. It's not going to be the end of the world.
Mm-hmm.
I want my own arena. That'd be cool, Bobby. Good to see you, by the way, Bobby. That would be cool. Because Jim, did you remember them saying if you're going to be able to build the arena?
Yeah, you'll be able to make your own stuff for people to play the game at, which would be pretty cool.
And then I think you'll get some proportion of revenue from operating the arena. It's like we're fighting the brawls inside your arena, and therefore you get a certain cut. Very, very cool. It feels like what am I trying to say? It really makes it feel like true land. Like, in region 93, track 2, Bobby owns plot 7, and that's where the best arena in the neighborhood is, and that's where we're going to fight. And then Bobby gets X, and then the castle for that area is over here, and they get certain taxes from Bobby and others. It's interesting how realistic it already feels, and it's only just kind of barely getting kind of meat on the bones.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, 100%. I am extremely excited for all this stuff, but I'm not trying to be too excited about it because I know we still have some time,
Yeah.
So
look at this. When 1.5 comes out, we will look back now and say, remember when Common Land was under 100? I think that's true. But I don't know if it's exactly generally speaking, I think that's going to be true, but I think it's probably going to look like 1.5 launches and cards get poured into land. There's a lack of liquidity on the marketplace, and rental cards and buying prices for cards shoot up. There's no new reward cards people can sell into the market. So probably bots who are holding on, because there's still bots with significant BCX of those old reward cards. They'll start liquidating those, but the buying pressure, I think, will eat through it, and that drives prices higher on cards and rentals, and that drives excitement because our assets, our portfolio gets more and more expensive, and then I think that drives probably more land purchases and sales, and more social media posts, and I think that's how suddenly land moves from relatively 50, 60, 70 bucks into the 100 range in a relatively short period of time. And it in some sense, it is just when 1.5 comes out, like he's saying, but I think it's kind of this process that begins and hopefully rapidly moves from into, like I just said.
I'm not going to say I was pretty spot on when it came to the price of the lands, what they dropped to.
Yeah.
When I said close to $50 and they went to, or my bad, $50, and they went to like $53, 56 range. Guys, I'm just too good at this game. Okay. Mm-hmm. I'm just too good.
Magical. I'm only recently learning some stuff too that maybe other people will already know, but maybe others won't. Like there are certain, this was from Magic's, from Gathering's channel, I think. He was talking about, he was differentiating certain cards are going to have benefits on certain plots of land, like hills are going to have certain monsters would be preferable on there, and plains another type, and lake, etc. Like water probably works well on lake, and desert is like a fire preferred monster land. I didn't know that, and it's in writing and it's available online if you want to go look at that stuff. So that's something to think through too, because you probably, if you had only lakes and you don't have a ton of water monsters, that's maybe a problem for you. So there's so many layers. And what's interesting is that if you're paying attention, you can find these answers now and start positioning yourself thoughtfully to benefit. But even myself, who does this, every day, I am not currently keeping up with it. And so, gathering and other people paying attention to gathering are going to be even ahead of me on some of these things. And you can really, I think you can position yourself in a cool way.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I've noticed that I've been a bit more active when it comes to trying to find things in the game for deals.
Mm-hmm.
So I know I've been enjoying that a bit. Because sometimes you just find so much good stuff, man.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what it is.
Level Up Life. That's the yellow dropped a comment. He goes, Level Up Life was talking about getting any cheap plots anywhere as being pretty good. Level Up Life is the other content creator that I've recently been watching. And yeah, he had some interesting content on land. And yeah, I guess Gathering's right. You can also rent out your land if it comes to it. There's so much that's unfolding here. And I think I feel we're weeks away from seeing the next level really, you know what I mean? It's like, it's not years anymore. It's weeks and maybe short months before we get to that place.
Yeah.
And Mum Pulls, I have a plot in Gorendale. I can trade it you. It's one of my randoms. I bought it. And
what's up, man?
What's that?
I said, "Oh, Mumpoles is here."
Yeah.
What's up, man? It's been a while.
Yeah, he said he's working on some faxes. He's working on some work stuff while he hangs out.
Ah.
Nice. I like some of the plots of land are really cool to look at. The calderas. I like the lakeside ones that I've seen, or maybe they're like rivers or something. And I've seen like castles or keeps on them. They're so lovely. They're really picturesque. It's the sort of place you would really want to live.
Yeah. I would love to pick up a keep, but dude, after doing the math on them,
yeah,
it's so difficult to want to pick up a keep.
What do you mean by doing the math?
You've done those numbers?
No.
So, if you buy a keep, right, after the taxes and your percentage of the taxes, it's as if you had almost 5 plots of land.
Okay.
So, what's cheaper, 5 plots of land or a keep?
A lot cheaper to get 5 plots.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I would love to have one, but it's like, at that point, you're just having it to have it.
Mm-hmm. It
is
is
super not cost efficient at all.
It is a prestige thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
Is this the one that sold the other day for 16? I don't know, but could be.
What is?
So there's a castle on screen here, and I know that there was a sale earlier this week or last week for a castle at 16 Thou. And so I also heard that the buyer relisted for a flip. This might be the same. I don't know.
Gotcha.
Yeah, I think I don't know, but I feel pretty convinced that I'm going to be super content to have, hopefully I'll have 50, let's aim at 50 first, 50 plots of land. And, what I would be willing to do currently and what I'm trying to do, I think I only have one of my plots of land listed, but I sold one. Like I said, it was a magical common, and I've listed one of my other magicals. It's a rare magical. And if it was to sell, I forget where it is located, but if it was to sell, I would, I'd reinvest. I'd buy cheaper plots of land. And so if anyone's listening to me, I mean, my advice would be, it would be awesome to own a keep or a castle or something like that, wouldn't it? You've occupied or a magical. But frankly, if you don't have thousands and thousands of dollars to throw at land, and you want to try this new part of the game, I think $60 for $70 for a plot of land, considering they cost $15 like a day one, is not very much markup. and you're getting your foot
Mhm.
in that door to be able to experience this part of the game, right?
Yep.
I mean, that's what I think, anyways. Ooh, hang on a second. I want to see my brawls. I submitted my teams already. Let's see, brawl. Oh, I've already watched these two. I submitted my teams. Oh man, I'm against Byzantine Kitty. Dude, this guy is like such a crazy account, and so does Wolf. These people I'm playing. This is the gold league, gold foil. This will be like your competitors in the future, hey Jim?
Oh man, one day.
Yeah. But like,
Dude, I can't wait for Rebellion and get all golds.
yeah.
You know, I talked a little bit to Steve last night,
Yeah.
and we've talked about like what could just be a better investment, and he thinks that cards. Well, he's been going ham into cards, and I know cards are a good investment, but I just like SPS so much. And so I was even considering just like maybe going a bit more ham into the gold foils than I have been doing.
Mm.
And you know, which is honestly pretty crazy to say, right?
Mm.
And maybe I try to get together a maxed out gold foil list and be ready when Rebellion drops, because we're not too far away from it.
How would that like how crazy expensive would you imagine that would be? That's gonna be really expensive, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a lot. It's a lot.
Do you have some?
At
Do you have
least like 10?
Yeah.
At least 10 for one of the sets. We're talking 10 for one of the sets.
Mm-hmm. I mean, not saying it's a bad idea. I think it's like a very exciting idea, really. But it's, you know what I mean? It's just like,
yeah.
oof.
Is it better to do other stuff with it?
It's so hard to say. These are the questions, though. These are like the exact questions that we all got to wrestle with. And because you don't have enough money for it all. And so what's the best play?
Yeah, you can't buy it all, can you?
Sorry, I thought I'd pick my team quick, and it's not been quick, but let's get this.
Yeah, that sounds like you.
How about you? And maybe...
Have you guys ever seen Dwayne pick his team quickly?
Yeah, here we go. We got a minute more of humming and hawing over here, I think. 477. Yeah, I like building it, and then I look at it and like, okay, wait a second. What about switching that for that or whatever? That could work. Go. I like Possibilis with the rule set of back to basics because he can bring that reach, and then you get two melee attackers. Now it would be better if I brought magic monsters probably, but at the same time I don't have a strong magic team. This is my 1258 account. I don't have a team that has a ton of real huge damage output from the magic. Yeah. So reach and plus the 2 extra hit points on everybody is pretty nice. Let's see if it works. I think it might work. We'll see. I don't like these magic. He's got. Nah, we're in trouble. We're in big trouble, aren't we? Yeah, we're done.
Uh-oh, Raggy.
I'm trying to play 1258 this account with like something of a kind of a bad gold league team, and trying to obviously compete at a high level with Infidel. Oh yeah, there was a question I wanted to answer. Gregory dropped a question. Is it on the screen right now? Gregory said, how do you feel about unclaimed plot tokens moving forward? So,
they're going to be expensive.
Yeah, what are they going for? Let me shop. Market
180 right now.
Is that right?
I think so.
Let's see. Plot. Where are you? Plot. 185. This is interesting. It seems like, I mean, this is just going up. Not huge, but like, you know, it was 140 when land launched. Because people wanted to, I don't know why, but people did, they were selling plots. And now it's kind of, that's a pretty significant, that's a 25% increase in the price, probably from 140 to 185.
Yeah.
And there's this number, the value of a single plot that is unsurveyed is probably as it's connected to, the price point is connected to the cost of the best plots of land, because you can imagine that an unsurveyed piece for 185 could turn into a castle or a keep, or a mythical or an occupied or a like all the best things could be inside there. You don't know. And so there's that little question mark that drives people to buy the overpriced plot, don't you think, Jim?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for sure. I did have a question. Who's the other person in chat?
Oh, in Discord, you mean?
Yeah.
Is Skeeter, are you here now?
Hey, yeah.
Hey, pal. So
Great to be on.
it's one of the time and attention boys, Golden Skeeter, coming to hang out and talk about Splinterlands. Thanks for pointing that out, Jim. I didn't know you were here, pal. So, actually, before we go any further, then tell us a little bit something about yourself, Skeeter. Like, what should we call you? First of all, this is the first time we've spoken. Tell me a little bit about your Splinterlands journey, and why are you, like, how did we come to talk? Let's go with that question.
Cool. Yeah. Thanks for allowing me to come on the show. You can call me Skeeter. I'm pretty happy with that. My name originates from the way Golden Skeet. And I said, like, in high school, if I could skeet gold, I'd be a rich man.
Yeah.
So this just keeps coming.
Yeah.
But I started with these games over in Hearthstone. Was my first CCG. I played that for pretty heavily for like 5-6 years or something, put in like $800 or whatever. And then when I stopped playing, all my money went away. So I'm like, this is horrible. I never want to do this again. This is, microtransactions are evil. I am done with like big transactions for microtransactions, at least. I moved into Magic the Gathering. I was like, oh, I get to own the cards, and that's really cool. And then all of a sudden I have a closet full of cards after a year, and like a cardboard condo with like tens of thousands of cards. And I'm like, this is way too much. I'm spending, I could have bought like a car for what I did in a year. So I'm like, yeah, let's proxy everything. So I print out all the expensive cards from like my friend's printer, and then eventually from China, where they can make custom cards, and printed out like hundreds of thousands of dollars of proxies.
Yeah.
And I've been using that money that I've been saving from Magic to put back into Splinterlands.
Cool.
I feel in the long-term view of Splinterlands, especially with increasing demand, and then, the supply check on all the cards, where there's all the cards get combined, and then with an increasing player base, it just puts a really big price crunch on all the cards. So I'm really hopeful for Splinterlands and just the play to earn space in general.
Yeah, man. Me too. And thanks for coming today. And I see a couple people recognize and give him the shout out. Bobby goes, Golden Skeeter must be from North Alabama. and Eli goes, what up, Golden Skeeter? Which TNA are you in?
I was in TNA 5 for a while, and then there was like an option to move up, and I was like taking a step back from the game at the moment just to focus on life and reinvigorate myself with the love for the game. Yeah. So then stayed there in like the training guild for a while, but now I'm in TNA 3 with the new change of leadership. Still seems to be going strong.
Yeah, I met with I'm forgetting his name right now. The new leader,
JPH.
Yes, JPH. We met Garrett. We met and had a great conversation the other day, and we're gonna try and do it again. And I'm gonna try and have him on here too, and just talk Splinterlands, just like we're gonna do today. But Isaac wanted to step back and just. I actually want to have Isaac on too, because Isaac, previous leader of number 3, sold his assets, and so he's got an interesting story around how easy is it to leave Splinterlands. Like, he made a decision, and like a week later he had liquidated, I think it was like several $1,000s worth of assets. I think it might have been $3,000-$4,000. And it'd be interesting to maybe hear that side of it, because people sometimes wonder, maybe can you do that, but also how would you do that, and even just like people often say that I'm just like permeable, and that's probably in some sense true. I think justifiably. It'd be good to maybe have the other side of the voice come out, and just like shout out to in the chat today, Horace, who is like gets in it. He drops some of that salt over the Splinterlands and some of the direction. I think it's good to have dissenting opinions, because if you got too many people who all just love what you love and agree with what you say, then you're not necessarily thinking straight. I think it's good to have people who push back. And actually, I want to digress for a moment. You mentioned the proxies and the printing them out and whatnot. I don't know if you know this. Jim knows this. I'm into this game called Lord of the Rings living card game. You ever heard of that one, Skeeter?
I haven't heard of it until you mentioned it, but I've looked at it online briefly.
Okay. So it's, for those who don't know, it's like this collectible card game, Lord of the Rings based. It's really fun. It's cooperative. So 3-4 of your friends can gather, 2-3-4 of your friends can gather and fight essentially what is the NPC, like the game itself, card draw. And the reason I'm bringing it up now is because you mentioned the proxies. Yesterday I printed out a bunch of cards. I don't know if those will show up on the camera, but these are just printouts of artwork and card development that was created by fans of the game, and they've created. This is from Lord of the Rings, like the First Age, which is like a totally different time from outside of. I don't know. I'm not sure who knows Lord of the Rings here, but the events that we know from the movies or the books is, I think, the Third Age, if I recall correctly, and so it's a totally different moment in the history and lore. And I just love that. I love that somebody was so interested in the lore of that space that they were able to do that. And to tie it into Splinterlands, like that's, in my mind, that's what's happening already with things like Splinter Forge and how land is growing and stuff. And because it's like people are into what this game has done and what it's creating, and they're adding to it. Maybe I'll turn it into a question. Peter, what do you think about the different add-ons that have come to this space? And tell me, like, are you dabbling in any of that stuff? Whether it's Tower Defense, Splinter Forge, GLG, are you buying packs for any of this stuff? And if so, which? And if not, why?
Yeah, I've been trying to diversify from Splinterlands a bit. Haven't really gone into other crypto card games, but I did buy like 100 packs of the Splinter Forge, and then like 100 packs of the Tower Defense, and like 100 packs of the soccer game as well. So I just want to be able to dip my toes in everything and be able to play the games when they come out without having to buy too many cards.
Which are you of the projects that, based on what we already know, like if you have one place that you're most excited about, is it Splinterlands? And if it's not, like, tell me about which and why.
Well, it definitely has to be Splinterlands. I'm most hopeful for that, and I have a really big mind for CCGs, so I really enjoy like the placement and the deck building and stuff. In a digital game, I don't really enjoy deck building as much when I have to sort through 10,000 cards. But the next one would probably be the Tower Defense game, since I've always been a fan of like Bloons Tower Defense and other Tower Defense games, and I even play like another free one on Steam called Minion Masters. That's like an RTS Tower Defense game, and that's pretty fun. But then also just going back to what you were talking about, the land with the bonuses, I was confused about all of the specifications of land until I watched Steve R82's video, who went over the white paper for it. And I took a screenshot of the land type bonuses, and I posted that in our Discord chat too, if you want to put that up on screen.
Awesome. Yep, I will.
I love that he said the entire name, Steve R82.
This is it, right? Oh, hang on. I'm going to open it in browser. Yeah. Steve's a great guy. This is what I maybe saw. Like I said, I recently saw, I think, Gathering the Magic covering this, but it might've been the other guy we just talked, somebody mentioned in the chat, I forget what he's called now, but somebody recently pointed me to this, and I didn't know any of this existed. So this is great stuff to see. Terrain type on the left-hand side, bonuses for different splinters depending on and if you don't recognize this, it could be very significant, right? Like Badlands and you're trying to run life on there, you're going to be causing yourself problems. Or Bog and you're trying to run life, you're going to cause yourself some problems. So it's like really important to recognize this stuff. Jim, were you aware that there's this differentiations?
Yeah, I knew about it.
Yeah.
You know, I'm what you guys call not a noob. Okay. So I definitely, all right. I might have forgotten.
I might have forgotten. I might never have known. So that's
I just
good.
didn't know specifically which ones were which, because as you can see, there's a lot of different numbers on your screen. So I'm kind of just happy getting whatever I can get. So
Level Up Life is the other one that I was thinking about. Yeah, he did that. He said, took a screenshot from his id. Yeah, okay. Yeah, so you heard about this stuff through Steve, you were saying there, Skeeter?
Yeah, and then my analysis of this land types is that I'm looking for the ones that give like a big 10% bonus, because I feel like over time you're going to able to fulfill that need. Like maybe at the beginning you'll the 5% bonus will be better when you don't have the full collection and there's not like 3 years of sets of cards to choose from. But I'm currently going for the ones that give the bonus on life, because the life are the cheapest cards right now. So I'm looking more at the forest, hills, jungles, and plains, and even tundras. So those are the ones I'm trying to buy right now, because I think those would be cheaper to fill up.
Smart.
Also, make sure you guys, if you are buying lands, make sure you get the one that has plus 10%, because the plus 5%, sure, it gives you more variety as to what you can throw on there and less of a penalty, but you're also losing out on rewards.
Interesting. So there's like with Tundra, for instance, there is less high-end reward, 5%, 5%, 5% with weather, water, life, and earth. But then simultaneously, they have lower penalty cards. Like Tundra has a 10% fire, a 10% death, and a 10% dragon penalty. Whereas certain lands like Forest really hate death. And so you might think, oh, well, it's easier to populate cards onto, for instance, Tundra, because there's less penalty and more, and like, I guess a slightly reduced reward. But yeah, Jim, your point makes a lot of sense. If you take advantage of, if you just target, if you shop the right plots, that'll be, you can populate them well, because you really only need, what, 6 cards? Is it 6 cards per plot?
It's 5 if you don't have a Rooney.
That's right. Yeah, I don't have 23 Roonies, so I'm not gonna have a Rooney on every one of my plots. I don't think I'm gonna have Rooney. Skeeter, what did you do with Rooney? Are you gonna do you have one?
So I bought one for vouchers when it came out. And then I, went through a cycle where I wasn't that hopeful about Rooney's, and there was like some downtime. So then I sold mine for like 285 pretty much, almost like break even. And now I'm trying to get one back, but I think I'm going to wait for some of the hype to die down, maybe in the fall or something.
Is the hype going to die down? Let's talk about that. I don't know, man. Like, yeah, probably. My first thought is that I even said that makes me think yes it will, because that probably I'm just like FOMOing like everybody else. But let's talk about this for a minute. Jim, like, is Rooney what's the future for Rooney? Are we gonna get more and more excited? Is this price gonna come back down to earth? Is it what's your view, Jim? And then Skeeter, will go over to you.
I can see the price going down before 1.5 comes out. Once 1.5 comes out, I don't see the price going down.
Because of the utility being unlocked from the Rooney on the plot of land. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, exactly. And then on top of it, when it finally happens to where we're able to merge Roonies, I don't know when that is, or is it already a thing?
I don't think it's a thing yet. I don't think.
When that happens, more Roonies are going to be destroyed. And on top of it, now there's going to be fewer Roonies, but they're also more rare in terms of like higher ticket items, whether it's weapons or backgrounds, whatever it is. So I really don't see Roonies dropping too much if they drop at all. And it'll happen sooner than later.
Yeah. Skeeter, talk to me about what Jim said there and your thoughts too.
Yeah, I agree with Jim for the most part, where I don't think it's going to drop that much. I'm just looking for, like a short window.
Mhm.
At first I was thinking after 1.5 comes out, but I think Jim's right, where it's going to have to be before 1.5, where people start earning before them. And I don't know, I'm also kind of optimistic about the pessimism of the world economy right now, thinking that we might go into like a downturn later this year.
Mhm.
So and if that happens, I expect crypto to go down too, unless the whole banking system collapse, which I think is pretty far away. I think we'll kick the can down the road again.
That's interesting. I think about that stuff too. I think we are. I'm not 100% sure how I feel about the short term for crypto and therefore for NFTs, because what I see as connecting to your point on the broader like economy and world picture, you think, the Fed is losing control. They have lost control. They can't keep raising rates, but they're pretending that they can. They have started printing money and they aren't calling it quantitative easing. They're just like, they printed 300 billion to help the banks with liquidity after the, I forget what the bank's called now, but those two banks failed in America. And then there's also like Deutsche Bank, which like is a huge deal. And oh no, sorry, it's not Deutsche Bank. It's, oh man, I'm forgetting it now. Well, if Oscu's out there, Oscu works for the bank. But there's like, this is a major issue like globally. And the problem is 0% interest rates for so long meant that bonds were the only way banks were really going to garner significant returns. And now that interest rates, then they lock in like 10-year, 5-year, 30-year bonds, and interest rates moves rapidly higher. What that means for anybody who doesn't understand this stuff is that the banks have took billions and billions, probably trillions really, because of how derivatives work and how rehypothecation works. The assets essentially are owned by more than one party, and so those assets are kind of dog-ass because they were bought at a time when interest rates were low, and now as interest rates have risen, those things aren't worth the nearly as much. Like if I could get a 2% bond that you bought 3 years ago, and I'm not going to give you, if it costs $100 for that quote unquote for the bond, I'm not going to give you $100 for it so I can get 2% interest rate off of it. I'm going to go get a new one with a higher interest rate. So those old bonds end up losing significant money. They take a huge haircut, and that's in a nutshell, that's kind of one of the main problems, that banks had tons of these assets on their balance sheet. And so this problem is real, and it's still here. It's not solved. And why does that matter for crypto and NFTs? Because it might mean that we see the Federal Reserve and all of the central banks around the world just globally start massively printing to buy back all that bond debt, or for whatever reason, really, because as lack of confidence in the banking system kind of grows, I think there's all kinds of trickle down problems, like people taking money out of the banks, and that's been happening a lot. And so then you see things out of that. I think we see gold and silver probably rising. Gold recently passed all-time highs. And then what does it mean for crypto? Well, I think it might mean, this is my prognosis, I kind of suspect it means another bull run, because what you hinted at, Skeeter, and maybe I'll ask you if you're thinking similarly or if you feel differently. I'll give you a second to comment. But if they are failing, if the banks are in trouble, and if the money printing hasn't stopped, and if it's only maybe just going to re-begin, and plus I think interest rates could be lowered back down to zero, and they probably will be in the next 3 to 9 months, I bet. And if all that happens, that will translate to, I think, a market boom for stock markets, but also for I think for crypto, for speculation, and yes, it'll even have translation for gold and silver. I think it'll just be this massive bull market, but I don't know for sure. But that's kind of what I'm hoping for. But that would be short lived, because then there might be an significant economic depression that would follow as the printing fails, as inflation goes to 20-30%. Skeeter, what do you think about that? And do you have any thoughts to add to that, or do you feel like I'm missing something? I'd love to hear.
Yeah, I agree with what you say. I'm not quite sure about the bull run or anything. About after that, I'm just kind of more informed about the short term,
Yeah.
where I think all the signs are just pointing pretty poorly right
Yeah.
now. But whatever comes down must come up. So if the next recession's pretty bad, then the one after that the boom could be really good.
Yeah.
Corresponding with it.
Yeah. And I mean, these things, the truth is markets go up, the markets go down. Even if we do have, I've said this before. I think if we are destined for like some sort of major market correction, maybe a recession or a depression, I'd rather have that happen while I'm still a young man and I can protect and defend and, work hard to support my family. In 20 years time, if we kick the can down the road, I'm going to be 60 something. That becomes to me more concerning because I want to protect my children. I want to protect my family, my wife. I want to be able to work hard and earn more and be creative and do different things to find solutions. So I don't know if that all sounds, let's say, dark or ominous. I would encourage people to just maybe do research on these topics because I think this is like a really distinct moment in history unfolding in front of us. And I think you can educate yourself even now on whether you think what I just said makes sense or whether there's another angle here. But I do think there's a ton of this is a complex moment in history and we should be paying attention, even if we're only here for Splinterlands, the video game.
Yeah, I agree. There's a lot of information out there, and this isn't the place to like educate everyone perfectly on the global economic factors, as this podcast isn't totally destined for that.
Yeah. I find it interesting though. I find that all that stuff super interesting, and that's part of why I came to Splinterlands and cryptocurrency broadly. What brought you to cryptocurrency, or what was the first thing that you talked about how Magic the Gathering and you had that interest in that was a connection point, but why crypto at all?
So I first heard about crypto like 10 years ago, and I almost bought like a sixth of a Bitcoin for like $150. But then this online marketplace crashed, so then I just didn't go through with it. And then just spent that money on like beer and pizza pretty much. So that was pretty expensive looking back on it. But yeah, I don't know. I'm pretty optimistic about. I got into crypto from Splinterlands after my friend told me about it at a music festival in the summer of 2019. I did research for a few months and then bought in at the high of 2019 in like August, September, November. But I'm still super bullish at this game. But now I just learned to dollar cost average a lot more and don't go all in at one time or one moment of time. So now with like land, I'm going a lot slower.
Mm-hmm.
Good idea.
Yeah. Is it, Jim, you I feel like you've been going ham lately. Like,
oh, dude, I've been going so ham.
Yeah.
But I have been going ham consistently.
Like so, you mean you've been just like pushing the chips the whole time is what you're saying, right?
Yeah. Like every single 2 weeks, whenever I get paid, I tend to dump a pretty good chunk. So, yeah.
I think.
And last night I almost made a pretty big purchase.
What are you looking at these days?
I'm kind of eyeballing a level 3 Dr. Blight.
Gold foil?
Oh,
yep.
Wow.
Yep.
I looked at him, but then I was like, nope, I'm going to buy other stuff.
Dude, Dr. Blight. He is a lot cheaper than what he was a couple weeks ago when I was looking at him. He used to be like a 500 BCX. Now he's like 350. So,
wow.
He's a lot cheaper.
Yeah, it's actually pretty reasonable. Like, I mean, it's not, but I mean, it's an amazing card. It's an amazing card. And the max level gold foil, max level right now on Peak Monsters, 1400.
Some would say he's the best Gold League card. Some people would say it. I don't know. I'm trying to find out.
I think it is. That once you get that scavenge, and that is at the Gold League, I find that
Yeah.
this card is absolutely just so good.
Mhm.
It just like, I mean, there's so many situations where this thing wins. And now with Martyr and how sneak attackers will sometimes kill your Martyr in the 5th spot because you got a camouflage Dr. Blight in the 6th spot.
Yeah.
And you can, what I like trying to do is, it hasn't worked exactly. I've only done it a few times, but I'll do a Dr. Blight in the 6th spot. I'll do a Martyr in the 5th spot. I'll do another camouflage, maybe the Jin Bilka in the 4th spot. And then like I'm picturing like an Obsidian Magic team on the green Splinter. And so you get 2 camouflagers that are going to get buffed when that sneak attack Martyr goes down. You guys ever mess around like that?
Oh, hey, Jeto's here.
Oh, nice.
I haven't because I don't have one.
You don't even have a regular one?
No,
Hmm.
if they're like really good cards, I don't have them regular foils
Mm.
because I'm just like, well, I can't use it in my brawl, so I'm just gonna sell it.
And Skeeter, do you have a Dr. Blight?
No, but I'm always pretty. He's hard to beat. I
Mhm.
feel always pretty good about myself when I do beat him. But it's like it seems like he has like a 60% win rate against me at least.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's pretty
But
amazing, I think.
but I have been looking more so at Ashur Cantus, whatever the dragon heal one.
Mm-hmm.
I think that card is really powerful as well. Since I don't have what's it, the 5-mana Tortoise in Chief, the neutral healer. So I think that would be like a good replacement for me. And then I was also just kind of looking at other cards that could be reprinted. And Ashur Cantus is pretty similar to the Angel of Light. It's like the 5-mana beta legendary that gives resurrect and tank heal.
Mm-hmm.
But instead of for like 2 extra mana, you get like some magic attack, and then you also still get the tank heal and a couple other abilities.
Oh, sure, right? That's the dragon one, right? Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
with
Yeah,
reflection shield.
this card's amazing.
that thing is beautiful.
Do you have this one, Jim, in gold?
Oh yeah, we got her in Gold League.
Did that come from the Steve trade back in the day or what?
Um, at the start it did, but then I sold a bunch of the cards that I got from him
Hmm.
because I wanted more SPS. So, but yeah, it was.
I don't know if Skeeter knows about this, but Skeeter, Jim pulled to gold foil Lux Vegas somehow. And yeah,
Damn, I heard about one. I didn't know you got 2.
yeah.
Oh, you didn't know about the second one? Oh man.
And then he pulled a great trade with Stever that you were mentioning earlier with like I don't exactly know what, but a ton of great cards for one of the gold foil Luxes. I sold my last. Did I sell my? I sold my last Lux. I don't know if I just we got a renovation happening, and I was like, you know what, Lux is like selling in that 1200 range. I sold it for, I forget how much. It was just under. It was right around here. It might have been like 1200 or just under 12. It was a private sale, and I took the money out, cashed it out, put it in the bank, helping pay for my renovation. So this is the second card I've done that with in life. The first being the Kitty, second being Lux Vega, and actually one other thing I'm trying to sell that I would be happy to sell is a title. I'm trying to sell my Vegas title. We'll see if it sells. There's 3 or 4 copies that are on the market. The Gambler or whatever.
Oh, yeah, because you have 2 of them.
I do. Got 2 of them.
Going back to Jim's conversation about like a gold foil collection, I've been working towards that as well. I'm like trying to push my collector side of my brain down to get like a full Chaos Legion collection and everything like that. I've been trying to make myself happy with like a gold level Chaos Legion collection, and then pick up like some really big gold foil cards that I think will be powerful in the future. Like trying to say that instead of a level 4 legendary, I'd rather get a level 3 in gold type thing.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah, I think that's an interesting way to do it. I think this is not going to work. Oof, man, this card is so amazing. Phantom Soldier. Such a beast. And this card too, the summoner on my screen here, Delwyn Dragon Scale.
Yeah, that Phantom Soldier I lost a lot to back when first starting the game when we could play alphas and betas.
Yeah.
And then I got like a level 1.
What are some of your favorite cards that you like playing with regularly, Skeeter?
Even if he's not super amazing, the Hill Giant's probably one of my favorite cards just for his high health pool and tanking ability. I like the stun and I like the art and the theme of the card too, but mainly I just have like a 1 BCX of a gold foil, the 2 mana reflect guy.
The 2 mana what?
Mana or magic reflect guy.
Magic.
On Earth, the shield guy.
Yeah. The failed summoner.
Yeah, so yeah, my field summoner only has 6 health, and this guy has more. So then I'll play this guy quite a bit in like low mana Earth games. But other favorite cards, I wish Pelacor Bandit wasn't so good right now and prevalent. So now all my lineups have to have like a sneak defense, pretty much.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
that guy's really
so
good.
so strong, and so cheap still. Like 1.5 pennies for an amazing sneak attack monster. I know that there's lots of copies of it, but to me, this card is like, it's just so good. It's right up there. It's at least top 10 of all the sneakers because of the speed and the flight too, which makes you, if they don't have snare or flying, then that, you're 25% more evasive because of that. This is a very, very strong card.
Oh, I also, my favorite card right now, based on power, I like the Void Dragon a lot. The 5 mana phase and Void.
Yeah,
I think he should cost more mana. That guy should be at least 6 mana.
For what it is, I mean, the number of hit points is significant. You got like full tank. That 9 hit points is like tank status. Then you got phase, so you can dodge magic, and 5 speed is enough with the flying that you will dodge some things. This is a great card. This to me, if you've got like speed manipulation, such as, if Kitty is so, like this thing with Kitty is just awesome. Or even, but this thing with, what's the other dragon with the negative speed and the archery nerf?
Quicks.
I mean, this thing with Quicks is great. You get that 1 more speed essentially because of the nerf to your buddy or to your opponent. It's a great card. And Quicks, go ahead.
Oh, sorry. I was going to talk about other dragon summoners. I think Slispa could be good later on. I just don't think we have the cards to support it because all the really fast cards right now, or a lot of them, they already have like phase. Like Oceanus and the Void Dragon, they both have phase, but those would be like 2 best cards to get phase. So I think when there's more fast cards that come out, I think this one could be a lot better.
Yeah. Jim, do you have anything to say about this? Because I have something I want to jump in there, but if you got a comment, I'll give you.
Go right ahead. I just am surprised someone actually said its name incorrectly.
That's what I thought you might want to I thought you might want to educate Skeeter about the proper pronunciation.
Yeah, so just so you know, that's not how you pronounce the name. It's actually pronounced syphilis. So whenever you pull this card, you have to tell them you got syphilis from the pack.
I find that this card is one of the examples of how I think that there's something I don't know if everybody knows this. I think probably people who watch me and people who are watching live know this already. But before I actually finish that thought, guys, if you're watching, drop a like. Thank you for hanging out today. Appreciate you all. But I think this card, the thing about this card is that, like you just alluded to, Skeeter, is there can be future partnerships that make this more powerful. And I think this is actually one example of how you can think through the evolving meta and position yourself from an investment standpoint to benefit. And I think it's not always the case that every ability has these sorts of things, but like you said, a summoner with phase will be so much better once we get a really fast tank that doesn't have phase. And on the same note, not dragon. But you know the green, the blue one, epic. The blue Aquatus, who is dirt cheap. You know, we're talking. You only need 46 copies of this thing. So you're talking like $60 for it. Look at this, $60 for a max summoner. A max summoner for $60. And the cards like this get significantly better as you get certain new tanks, for instance, that are really fast naturally, and that don't have backfire. Maybe they have flight. Maybe they have dodge. Maybe they have 5 or 6 speed. There are some monsters that are already like that, but at some point in the future, you might just see a new tank drop with flight, with dodge, with phase, and it would be such an amazing partner for like a card like Aquatus. And if you see if you see that happen, you need to be one of the first eyes that recognize that, because you can rush in and get like a $60 summoner in maybe in a moment like that. Or to your point, Skeeter, like the Thispa one, again, the same thing. I feel like Giant Killer is another example of how you can look toward the future and try and prepare yourself. Cards that have Giant Killer are going to be stronger and stronger as there are more and more 10 mana cost cards in play, and there's other examples of that too. But just looking at the library of abilities and the library of cards can help you unlock like expectations about where the future of the meta will go, and that's a really cool thought, because it's one of the ways that you can position yourself, I think, thoughtfully to benefit.
Yeah, exactly. It made me think of this. Some of the notes that I typed up of like beta cards due for a reprint, and I was thinking of like Phantom of the Abyss and Elemental Phoenix. They both have 5 speed or more, flying and dodge. And when do you think they're going to print another card that has high speed, flying, and dodge? And if it happens to be blue, then Aquatus is just going to go have like a new best friend.
Yeah, a card like this. I wonder if they might not issue something like that again in the near future, because can you imagine this thing with, well, I mean, about 3 or 4 different summoners. Like now the speed meta is so established, and you've got summoners with +2 speed, and you've now even got phase summoners, and you've got backfire summoners. It's like this card would be such a powerful new modern card if there was even something similar, let alone better. But this was released when summoners were kind of underwhelming in some sense. What do you think, Jim? Do you think we're gonna and Skeeter too? Like, are we gonna? Do you actually think that we'll get a new one of these or something like that? Tell me what that would look like. Would they iterate, or would they? Do you think this is overpowered by today's standards? Like, I don't want to hear any thoughts on this.
I think that we'll get something crazy after Rebellion for it. So it'll give us another card that's really good to combo with it for Wild. So I don't think they're gonna have it in Standard. I mean, because that thing really does need the Syphilis phase in order to be stupidly good. But with Aquatus, I don't think we're gonna get something.
This thing with Aquatus would be solid too. Not perfect, but yeah. Everything in this game has its weakness. But man, you put this with Aquatus, you're going to see some backfires.
A lot of them.
Yeah, so I agree with Jim. I don't think they're going to print this type of card in Standard again for a while. I think the game would have to power creep for another 2 or 3 years or something, and then when everything gets faster and stronger, we might get another card with 6 speed, flying, and dodge.
And for the non-Magic the Gathering nerds out there, Standard means like what we would call Wild, right?
Oh, right. I forgot it's called Modern here. Whoopsie.
Okay, so standard is Modern here. Is that how it goes?
Yes.
Okay. This is interesting. $300 for this amazing card. I'm adding to my Wild deck, and I recently bought like a Ruler of the Seas. I bought several amazing cards. What's that spirit something from the neutral?
Spirit Hoarder?
Spirit, no, it's a magic. It's a neutral Spirit Miner. I bought a Spirit Miner. the other day for relatively cheap. This is a great card. Dodge, Swiftness, Blind. So good. Look at this, $72 for a level 3 with the Dodge and Swiftness. And it's doing 2 damage output to 5. You get, look at this, $139. I mean, to me, this is a really great deal. This is one of the best.
That card was over $1,000 when I started playing.
Yeah.
Ooh.
And gave me PTSD from losing against it all the time in bronze.
Yeah. It's so nasty. Like, I mean, in conjunction with, for instance, Ruler of the Seas, which gives you another plus, like a Swiftness. So you get, and then you maybe use like Valnamore, who has a plus speed. You can make a blue team where the, what's it called? The Jin Oceanus in the first position has like, let's say 8 speed, phase, and force field, by the way, and good plus dodge. It's so nasty. If you build the right team, it's really it's more of a wild only kind of experience. But Spirit Miner is great. Phantom of the Abyss is great. What other cards are you curious about? Maybe seeing some sort of new releases on. Do you think that there's appetite for any other kind of possible new, like not replicas, but you know what I mean, revisiting some old cards?
Yeah, old cards. I think the snipers, like the Twisted Jester, the Pirate Captain, the Fire Beetle, they could all use a revamp because snipe meta is pretty weak right now. The Sneak is king. So I think that some more snipers need to come out. But I'm also really interested for Life to get its own version of Medalli Guardian, because Medalli Guardian on blue is just so strong with like Bakjira, and then you give Life the version with Uriel to give it heal and repair. And I think the Medalli Life version of Medalli Guardian would be really strong and needed for Life.
Yeah, that would be. This is in the conversation for one of the best healers in the game right now, with the heal and the repair, plus the strengthen, which augments your heal ability. Yeah, this thing is real good, and only 3 mana too. I know it has no damage, but sometimes that's okay.
Yeah, I'd be fine with like a 5 mana version that did like some archery damage or something. I think that'd be good.
Don't need reflective barrier if you don't attack, you know?
Yep, that's true. and you're right, the Life would certainly benefit from that repair as well as the tank heal. You have it, I think, only with, does Oshur Constantia do repair? No, it doesn't. Is there anything like that? Let's see, repair.
It's a Scale Doctor. You have one. I've been looking to get one for a while.
The Adelaide Brightwing is in some sense, like, because the white team, you talked about the Medalli Guardian in the context of the white, I assume because the white is so successful with the armor and with Grandmaster Wraith. Is that why you brought that connection in your...
Exactly. It seems like Life's like the most defensive Splinter, so I'm kind of confused why Blue got the most defensive card to begin with.
That's interesting. You think they're the most offensive in your mind? That they're the offensive wonder?
I wouldn't say Blue's offensive wonder. Maybe right now, just from their Chaos Legion kit, but I feel like Life with the Peak Rider, I think it is, and the other old summoners, like Life just seems to be really good at like tanking a lot of damage and just like sustain and attrition, and you just wear them down with like heals, and you go in fatigue, and you can win by that way. I feel like that's Life's plan, but then Blue got Bakjira and Medalli Guardian.
What do you think, Jim, about like this is kind of a bit of a digression, but talk to me about like who's the main offensive Splinter these days? Like, I feel like in the old days, Fire was distinctly melee. I feel Blue was distinctly magic. And there was other things too, but like nothing. Those were the two that I felt were the most kind of obvious. And now I'm not sure if I really feel so clear cut about any of that. And in part, it might be because the lines get blurred because we have modern and we have wild, and they feel different. But Jim, do you feel like there's is there an identity to some of these Splinters that really stand out to you? Or does it feel like there is maybe like blurred lines and they all do melee, they all do, what do you think?
So it is really hard to say which ones are a bit more offensive than others. You know, when you're just using Lux Vega for every single game, it's like they all blend in regardless, you know? Um, they're all getting speed, HP, and armor. Um, but other than that, it still kind of seems like red and blue are just the most aggressive ones because Skargor came out and that is phenomenal. It's you punch me in the face, I'm gonna destroy you even more.
Mm.
Kelly came out with the speed control, and not to mention the cards from Chaos Legion, the melees that they got, the Deep Lurker, the Demon Shark, that Flying Squid, dude, they are so good, ridiculously good cards. And I'm kind of glad that they're stepping away of like, oh, white is only about defense, death is about debuffing. It's like bring in some more variety for these colors because it's not just about one thing, you know?
I would say though that your Skeeter, I would lean towards what you alluded to, which is that the white is very defense first. That's not to say that they, like to Jim's point, that's not all they do. There is a complexity now in the game where you can build a very offensive white team in ways that weren't always so. But I think their first foot forward, like their primary, like maybe their ace up their sleeve, the white team to me is sustainability and outlast. If they can control you like through repairs and resurrects and heals, etc., or through divine shield or through more armor, etc., that's kind of more their play. But General Sloan, you talked about this when we first started talking, you talked about how life is one of the cheaper cards to buy. General Sloan is part of that story for sure. One of the most overlooked. We're talking $89 for a max General Sloan, and this thing is buffing. Like, this gets slept on, man. This is significant. Archery damage is very powerful, and I prefer magic. I think I even prefer melee. But this is actually, in my opinion, a strong card. Any thoughts on Beyond a Life, Skeeter? That do you feel there's themes with the blue or the red or the green or the black or the dragon even?
I definitely feel like the theme for green is just like Timmy mode. If people don't know what that is, Timmy is like a way to describe players where you just want to play big, dumb, stompy creatures like dragons and stuff. So green.
Whoa, dinosaurs. Okay, dinosaurs.
There we go, dinosaurs too. I just have a dragon magic deck, so I guess I lean towards that. So I think greens for like big stompy creatures with like no armor are pretty good at that, and then death seems to be more like offensive oriented, I guess, because they don't really get that many heals or like armor repair or anything. So when I build the death
debuffs,
yeah, or debuffs. So when I build a death team, I'm like, I can't. I have to think about how I'm going to beat like a Bakjira or something else. So I'll bring in a range guy quite a bit.
Yeah, I agree with what you're saying. Like, really, it's just the corrupted Pegasus for the tank heal over here.
Yeah.
Unless you're bringing out some neutrals.
Dragons also Timmy mode too, because big dragons.
Let's spend a minute here and check them in the chat. I gotta get going in about 9 minutes, guys. So we'll read some chat and then maybe I'll give you guys a chance to say some things before we go to. Let's see.
Got some construction going on over there.
Yeah, they're back and they're chopping, boys. Sorry about that. Yeah, we're working on Lumina's bathroom. I was saying that for anybody who maybe is just turning in or is like who didn't hear my beginning 5-minute spiel. We're working on renovations for Lumina's bathroom, and they are chopping drywall. At times they've been loud, at times they've been quiet. I've set up a noise gate, but it's not going to be perfect. Sorry, guys. I almost didn't go live today, but it's been like 2 weeks or something since I've done live, so I just thought we'd pop on here. Let's see. This buzz only good at like diamond level when cards get speed. Yeah, but watch what happens as more cards come in, right? There can be an evolution to that. Gathering says sniffle list. I like that. Ivan, good to see you, buddy. Deep Lurker, Goblin Psychic, Quicks, Chaos Agent, Queen of Crows are some of the must-haves off the top of my head. Queen of Crows is one that I feel it's a rare monster. I don't know, but I feel as though if it was in any other release, it would be probably an epic. What do you think about that? Do you guys have you seen the Queen of Crows? Like, and have you thought about that question?
Yeah, the close range death.
It's the close range. Like, look at this. Look at these stats here. Close range, headwind, slow, return fire. This could be legendary. And the number of hit points, 13, damage of 3. Like, this looks like Cornelius to me, which is a legendary monster. But yes, Cornelius is tank heal. But man, this is 9 mana. This is an amazing card for rare.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of Queen of Crows. That's one of the cards. It's like the only Rift Watcher card I got leveled up in gold foil right now because I'm a big fan of that card. I think it's so powerful, and then they added the ranged only rule set. It feels like you just kind of need to play that. And then I also got the fire guy with ranged from Rift Watchers that has headwinds and magic or blast reflect, whatever.
Say again. Magic reflect and blast.
Oh, sorry, reflection shield and headwinds on fire.
On fire, okay.
But yeah, then I saw the market for Queen of Crows was getting soft for gold foil, so I'm like, oh, if I buy these like 8 cards, I can buy out the market, or so I thought. And then all of a sudden, 2 days later, there's like 10 more cards on there. So I was just able to get out break even.
Okay, what else we got in here? Full recharge damage on every turn. Oh, nasty. Yeah, Twisted Jester, you mentioned that earlier, and Bobby's agreeing. It's so slow these days, whereas it used to be one of the faster monsters. I think it has 4 speed, and I remember feeling like it was a fast monster.
Same.
Ivan, it's bound to happen. I've been picking up cheap recharge cards in prep. Yeah, I think recharge, the chat was talking about how recharge could have one of those upgrades, like somehow something changes about it. Because I think recharge is an ability in this game that is people don't like. They mostly don't use it. There's only really the angel from the white team that gets a lot of love, and it has recharge. But there could be some sort of ability or some sort of summoner or some sort of like synergy that changes how that operates that might really transform the price point on some of those cards, maybe. Virus said, might be able to use it in life if the dual color promo summoner is life and water. That would be cool. Yeah, Virus, hey, good to see you, bud. And he's, because he's kind of answering your comment there, Skeeter, saying, you could maybe bring the Mardali Guardian over to the life, because we know we're going to get the multicolor summoners. Let's talk about that for a minute or two here. In the recent town hall, they talked about how we're going to get those summoners that will cover more than one splinter. And they talked about how the next promo card was going to add something new. If we went to the town hall post, maybe I can do that quickly. No, I can't find it that fast. On the town hall post, the wording of it was like the new promo card is going to bring something new, and I think it might be one of the first multicolor summoners. Ooh. Thoughts, expectations? What do you think?
That's hard to say, because just bringing out one for a multicolor.
But hang on, let me add to that. Because the word again, if I could pull up if I could pull it up right now, I'd show you. They said, where is it? There it is, town hall summary. They said, let's go, promo card sale. Okay, look, this is what they said about the new Splinterlands promo card May 2nd. A game mechanic first in a series opens up new gameplay. So first in a series would mean, in my mind, we could see one summoner that has, fire, water, and then we could see next month or whatever, we could see another one that's earth, death, or whatever. I haven't heard anybody else agree with me. This is just my own, I'm thinking. Skeeter, Jim?
Yeah, I don't think it's gonna be a dual color summoner, just because if they come out with whatever the color scheme is for it, all the other colors aren't going to get anything.
For now.
For now. but that's like a month plus of like this card being maybe a little crazy. I don't know.
a little overpowered. Skeeter, what do you think about that?
Yeah, I think it'll be definitely really strong if you can combine two summoners together, two colors. I think if they were going to release one at a time, they'd probably do some weaker colors first and not include blue. So I think it would be more like Life and Green or Life and Death, as someone else in chat said, Virus.
Yeah, that sounds kind of smart. If they're going to do it, but let's focus for a minute just on this wording. Am I reading too far into it? First in the series, that makes me think there's going to be many of whatever they're going to launch. There's going to be several of them, and then opens up a new gameplay. That's why. What do you think about the wording there? What other speculative suggestions might come to mind to one of you guys or both of you? If not the multicolored summoners, because they did specifically say in the town hall, we're going to do the multicolored summoners. That's happening. And then later on, they talked about the promo card in this way. So maybe I'm connecting dots wrongly, but do you see is there some other suggestion for what this means in your mind, Skeeter or Jim?
Yeah, I can definitely see where you're coming to that conclusion, but I can't think of anything else that they could do. So I don't know. Maybe you're right.
Go ahead.
You can go.
I was gonna say, this is me thinking, this is fresh thoughts here. As I go down and scroll down, and I see possible mini set. Remember they talked about the possible mini set. If the partnership with that studio, whoever that happens to be, if that actually manifests, what if they did like a mini set that had one summoner for each splinter? So instead of like my suggestion of releasing one summoner that's multicolored, you just go ahead and release a mini set that has 4 summoners or 3 or whatever it is. And then that way you get them all at once. That could be a possibility.
Yeah, that would make most sense to me. Maybe their promo is a pack that you can buy that has, 2 cards in it or even 1 card in it, and you have 4 or 5 different summoners that you can get.
Interesting. That'd be cool.
And that's where the multicolor come into play.
That'd be cool. So there'd be a bit of luck in opening it. I'd want to buy those packs.
Yeah, definitely. So my first thought when I heard this from someone's description of the town hall, I think it might be yours. I thought it would just be like a new ability, but now they say like new mechanic and opens new gameplay. It makes me think it's more than just a new ability. Could be something I would next thought would be related to land somehow, but land's not quite playable yet. So I'm not quite sure what they mean with this wording.
Yeah, me neither. I'm definitely speculating, but I've gone on quite a limb over here talking about the promo card and about I talked about even the mini set. I'm kind of quietly but publicly speculating that the mini set might have something to do with Avatar: The Last Airbender, and it's only because that IP is actually relaunching in a major way right now. Plus it's awesome. Plus it has enough characters that you could imagine it could partner with a game like this and come up with a mini set. Whereas, there's not a lot of sort of IPs out there that I would think would be interested in partnering with. Like I don't picture Disney kicking down the doors to partner with Splinterlands. I don't picture Marvel or DC. So then like, who is it? That's why. So I'm kind of out on a limb here over the last couple of weeks, making some pretty wild predictions, but we'll see if they come to play. It's going to be fun to figure out what the mini set is. It's going to be fun to figure out what this new promo card is regardless. And it's coming in just a couple weeks here, which will be awesome. But guys, I got to go get the kids at school. So I got to let you go. But before I do, Skeeter, thanks for coming, and I would love to have you back on. He and I were going to hang out and do like a thing, and then we didn't maybe feel it was going to happen today, and then we pulled it together at the last minute. But I'll have you back on one time where it's just me and you, and we can do a bit deeper dive on all things Splinterlands. And Jim, as always, buddy, I love you and appreciate you coming to hang out. And yeah, let's try and set up a Friday night one of these nights soon, and I'll come over to Splinterlands TV. Anything you guys want to shout out, Skeeter? Any way that the guys can follow you? Do you do any socials, anything like that?
No, I don't really have any socials. I
Okay.
mean, I have a Twitter, but I just follow people on it.
Okay. Okay, well, we'll have to have you back soon, and I hope you'd like that. But we'll talk on Discord, and we'll try and set something up at some point. And Jimbo, let them know about the time slots for Splinterlands TV.
Oh yeah, I just want to say thanks for having me. As always, it's pretty much always great, except for some of those times it's not, But we don't talk about those times. And I'm just memeing, guys. It's always great hanging out with Dwayne. All right, please don't cancel me. And for the stream team, yeah, I'm streaming Wednesday night. What are my time frames again in PST? Midnight, pretty much midnight PST.
Okay.
On Friday nights, going into Saturday.
Always good to have you both. Friday. And this is a great chat, guys. Thanks a lot for everything. And we'll talk soon, okay?
Thanks for having me on. I appreciate it. And just love talking Splinterlands with other friends.
It's great.
Bye for now, guys. Thanks everybody out in the chat. Thanks for the likes, the subscriptions. Thanks for